All right, guys. My people, this is about Peter Obi, ADC, Atiku, and all their people together. As you and I know, me particularly, I'm for Peter Obi. I'm not for Peter Obi because he's an Igbo man. I'm for Peter Obi because I know currently the only man that can change Nigeria to put smile on my face, your face, our faces, is Peter Obi, regardless of any kind of sentimentalism. Yes, we don't come out now and say some of them. Now, say the only way to remove Tinubu in 2027 for Atiku to drop down or step down, bring down his aspiration, his satanic desperation to support Peter Obi. And if he can do that, 100 or 100 million Tinubu will certainly be removed if all the ADC people stand by Peter Obi. We said this so many times. I do hope this come to realism. Guys, let's listen to Arise and listen to comments from people like Rufai, Ayo, and Abati. Guys, let's watch this.
Ahead of the 2027 presidential election, a coalition of opposition political parties and civil society organizations has appealed to the conscience of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to give Mr. Peter Obi a chance to stand as a candidate for the opposition parties. A statement jointly signed by the interim National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, Prince Tony Akeni, CUPP National Secretary, High Chief Peter Ame, among others, was optimistic that 100 Tinubus, with all the structures and institutions at his command, cannot return to office in 2027 if Atiku gives Peter Obi a vice presidential choice and stands behind Obi for the 2027 presidential race. Joining us later on this show to discuss reasons why they feel Atiku should drop his ambition and support Peter Obi is Prince Tony Akeni, Interim National Publicity Secretary, Labour Party.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan has paid a visit to the national chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Senator David Mark, at his Abuja residence. The meeting, described as crucial, comes amid growing political realignment ahead of the 2027 general elections. While details of their discussion remain undisclosed, political observers believe the party may not be unconnected with efforts to forge new alliances and strengthen the opposition's position in the evolving political landscape. Jonathan, who has in recent months been at the center of consultations across party lines, continues to play a pivotal role in Nigeria's democratic process. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who earlier in the day also met with David Mark, disclosed the development on his X page, describing it as a meeting of the Nigerian people against the oligarchs who promote poverty and insecurity in the land. He also shared images of key participants. The African Democratic Congress has also finally rested the idea of using the yet-to-be-registered Advanced Democratic Alliance Party, or ADA, as an alternative vehicle platform for upcoming elections. At a meeting of ADC leaders in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, disclosed that all ADC's presidential aspirants have agreed to support whoever wins the primaries election, along with a final order being given to all members to resign membership of other political parties.
It's not surprising that, this political development is of interest to many people and has given rise to speculations in various directions. Now, yesterday alone, you had Alhaji Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar leading a delegation to meet with Senator David Mark in his residence. He was accompanied by most of the principal figures in that ADC coalition, including the former governor of Kwara State, the spokesperson of the party, and then also former governor of Kaduna State, and a host of others. They had a meeting, and then shortly after, the same day, you had, President Goodluck Jonathan visiting the same Senator David Mark, whose position as chairman of the party, the ADC, has been approved by INEC, even if there is a group within the ADC that is objecting to that. Now, it's of interest to the extent that, one, in the case of Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar, he disclosed that, they met to discuss something of interest to the Nigerian people, and that we address how the oligarchs in Nigeria are punishing the poor people. So in that regard, the disclosure was made in that direction. But as for President Jonathan, people were saying, okay, he's now doing consultations with a lot of people. Well, the reason why many commentators would say that was that after President Jonathan left office, he set up the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, and then he was very busy with international engagements. He wasn't so actively seen having political meetings. But in recent times, we've seen him having meetings with Mr. Peter Obi, General Babangida, Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, and then now he was seen publicly going to visit Senator David Mark. He may have visited people previously, but it didn't generate news. But it gets reported now because of the circumstances surrounding his place in the current politics, with a lot of people saying that, he's probably the best person that can take power away from the APC government and return it to whatever party. But all of that is still at the level of people speculating and trying to do their own permutations. President Jonathan himself has not made any statement as to where he stands. It could just well be, that he has returned to active politics without necessarily being interested in any position. So we should wait for him and not speculate, for him to come forward and tell us. After all, in 2023, some persons went and spent 150 million naira to collect funds on his behalf. At the end of the day, he said he was not interested. So I think the onus rests with him to give clarity. But what we can say is that with all these meetings, with all these consultations, that something is happening, that the opposition coalition is coming together, trying to find direction. And it is of interest that Malam Bolaji Abdullahi also said yesterday that those members of the coalition who have not made up their minds should go and resign their membership of other political parties and join the opposition coalition under the umbrella of ADC to form a formidable front. By the same token, he said that the involvement with ADA, the other political party called ADA, has been laid to rest because ADA was supposed to be the backup, platform, just in case the ADC platform proved ineffectual. So we watch developments, and I think we'll have clarity one way or the other by the first quarter of next year.
Okay, you see, a lot of political meetings going on. It shows that something is rife in the political terrain. What I would have loved to ask Dr. Abati is, he met with his Oga, Goodluck Jonathan. Did he broach this talk about politics? And I know he would not like to tell us what his Oga said, but Dr. Abati, is there anything brewing? You see, you're laughing, Dr. Abati. I can see your face. You're laughing. Is there anything brewing based on the lovely meeting you had with your lovely wife and President Goodluck Jonathan yesterday? Or you just said to say hi to him? You didn't talk anything politics. You, I know, will have broached the matter. So it's Dr. Abati that has the empirical facts in the hands as regards this matter today. So,
is he willing to give us an exclusive?
Is he willing to give us an
empirical facts to give you?
You are not willing to give us any exclusive?
No, I have no exclusive for you.
Okay, no exclusive. Okay.
It was a private visit.
Okay, private visit, private visit. But they talked about many of them. Because you see, the visit I'm more interested in is the visit between Dr. Abati and Goodluck Jonathan rather than the other political visit, because I know that's where we can get some juice. But since you said it was a private visit, I think the thing is, you see, you always have politicians try to align one way or the other, especially when it's political season. I think some things we can hold on to now is the fact that the ADC has now said that they're not going to go ahead with ADA. But if I'm to advise, I will still say they should have another political platform they can use Because the person they are fighting in this game, President Tinubu, is a master of this game. And you're already seeing the problems in the ADC as we speak. And more will continue. So it is very dangerous to be able to use just one platform. I mean, it's just like what was now proven to be false. Just the statement attributed to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar that he said he was going to favor Yoruba people. Apparently, it was fake news, and Paul Ibe, spokesperson, have come out to say it. So there's going to be a lot of information warfare. And there's going to be a lot of political warfare. So it is suicidal, to say the least, to say that you're going to use just only one platform. And then if, President Goodluck Jonathan went to see Senator David Mark, yes, they are all part of the PDP family at some point and everything. So it's good for them to see. If Alhaji Atiku Abubakar goes to see, yes, it can be related to politics because we all know that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has not, hit the fact that he's very interested in the political terrain. But anything that pans out, we'll be able to see what pans out in the coming days. But I was waiting for some exclusive, but we don't have exclusive as we speak today.
I believe that 2027 is going to be an exciting one, especially with the players that have come on board. It's often, often talked about the fact that when it comes to the choices for Nigerians, usually they're quite limited because it's either one or two, or like we had in the last election, 3 horse race. But now we're seeing a lot more participation. The conversation now with President Goodluck Jonathan visiting Senator David Mark, who was Senate President during his tenure. To many, perhaps it's a private visit, or a social visit, or a visit to consolidate plans as to which party he would, if he decides to run in 2027, which party would be his, would be his party. Would it be the Labour Party? Would it be the PDP? Would it be the ADC? He has kept mum on this, and we're all waiting to see whether or not, number one, he's going to run, and number two, whether or not he's going to, which party he's going to go to. Recall that the attraction for the North, some might say, is the fact that he has only one term. He can only do one term. And so he would fulfill the last term. And then, when we talk about zoning and all that, he can go back to the North for another 8 years. But beyond that is also Atiku Abubakar coming in and also not letting go. He's also going to see the ADC chairman, and we don't know the details of the conversation as well. But I think the most interesting part of that story for me is what the publicity secretary said, which is that all the presidential candidates have agreed to support whoever emerges in their primaries. This was the same thing that was said in PDP during the last election, until the candidates of some people did not emerge, or it didn't go the way of certain people, and then it was a free-for-all fight, which perhaps cost them the elections during the last cycle. Would this be the same fate for the ADC, or would they have learned some lessons from the PDP and what happened there? So at the end of the day, it's bringing people together. Senator David Mark has a lot of work on his hands to ensure, as chairman, that he's able to bring all the parties together, and that the strong candidates, potential candidates, would be willing to work together for the good of the party to, to give a good showing and a good opposition to the APC, who has the incumbent factor. But we continue to watch. 2027, here we come. It's getting even hotter and more interesting.
Ahead of the 2027 presidential election, a coalition of opposition political parties and civil society organizations has appealed to the conscience of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to give Mr. Peter Obi a chance to stand as the candidate for the opposition parties. The coalition, under the aegis of Agobi 27, rising from a 3-day crucial stakeholders meeting in Abuja, stated that the duo contesting at different party platforms will amount to splitting votes from the opposition coalition parties and possibly will ensure a smooth sail of the APC to victory. According to the group, while Tinubu could easily defeat both Atiku and Obi if they contest on separate platforms by using federal machineries and institutions to rig against them, 100 Tinubus with 100-fold of all the structures and institutions at his command cannot return to office in 2027 if Atiku gives Peter Obi a vice presidential choice and stands behind Obi for the 2027 presidential race. Joining us on this show to discuss their plea to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and why they feel it doesn't stand a chance against President Tinubu is Prince Tony Akene, Interim National Publicity Secretary, Labour Party. Prince Akene, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has been in this presidential race since 1993. He has contested 6 times. Most recently, when someone made this same suggestion that he should not run again, he should allow a younger person to run, he's getting old and all that. That was a very strong statement coming from his media office saying that no, he's going to run in 2027. Now, you had a 3-day meeting and you are saying, oh, Atiku Abubakar should step down for Mr. Peter Obi, who is a person who can beat the APC and President Tinubu. I'd like to ask you, now, 3 days, how did you people arrive at that decision? Even when you know that it's a matter of individual choice. It's not a matter of wishful thinking, who will run, who will not run. It's an open democratic space. The second thing is that I introduce you as interim publicity secretary. Now, you speak for which faction of the Labour Party? Because I know that Arabambi and his supporters, on the other hand, will say, oh, here Arabambi is the publicity secretary. But here, you are saying you are the which faction do you speak for? And, you know, who were these people who decided that it must be Peter Obi or nothing for 2027?
Okay, thank you for your double-edged question. Let me start with the one that comes later. There is no faction in the Labour Party. The judgment of the Supreme Court put pay to that. The interpretation that followed a few months ago also sealed that judgment. There is only one Labour Party. Whatever else you're seeing outside the Senator Nenadi Usman-led leadership of the Labour Party is just smoke and fog that is being created for persons who have determined that the progress of this country and the progress of the Labour Party in particular is not of any interest to them. All they seek is a platform to line their pockets by impersonating the structures, the institution of the Labour Party. But that is beyond their reach now, because both the Supreme Court and the Federal High Court interpretation that came afterwards has put any activity of the Labour Party beyond their reach. There is only one body, the one led by Senator Nenadi Usman as the interim national chairman, and that is the only one that exists. Then coming back to the question of the Agobi 2027, Agobi is an acronym that stands for Atiku, please give us Obi in 2027. You will recall that in the run-up to the elections of 2023, a body of patriotic young Nigerians besieged the Wadata Plaza where PDP has their national headquarters. And what was their objective that time? They were there to plead, PDP, give us Peter Obi, because they had seen something unique in Peter Obi. They held peaceful rallies, they pleaded on their feet, they pleaded on their knees. PDP turned their backs on their pleas. And that was the seminar beginning, the seed that led to the body we call the Obedient Movement today. When Peter Obi resigned, that body continued the plea. They went with him, and then it snowballed into first a national momentum and then a global momentum, in the sense that Nigerians in diaspora saw the unique qualities of Peter Obi and put their muscles behind the Obi movement, and it became what it became, a fireball in Nigerian political history that has never been seen before. And what happened? In a short time, the name Peter Obi has become the central word in the political encyclopedia of Nigeria.
All right.
Now, here we are again, 2025, on the wrong way to 2027. The same understanding that our country has been blessed by an extraordinary individual in the person of Peter Obi. We also have a similar understanding that our country has been blessed by an extraordinary person in the person of His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, two giants strutting the political space of Nigeria on the side of the progressive aisle. Looking at the two personalities, their backgrounds, where they're coming from, and where they have told Nigerians they are heading,
okay,
we felt that it was time to come to the intersection of their individual aspirations.
Okay, all right.
And take a stand.
Okay, okay.
And the stand we have taken is based on research and study.
All right, Peter Kenny, we'll come to that study shortly, but we'll come to that shortly. But I need to ask you, because of our time, we have very limited time. But you're speaking from the Labour Party.
Okay.
There are a number of parties involved now, so I don't even know which party, because neither of them, that's Atiku Abubakar or Peter Obi, have declared, well, Atiku has indicated interest, but they haven't yet spoken in terms of the party platform. Are you asking them to all come on the Labour Party platform? Because the PDP and the ADC now are in the mix. And then there's a third giant in the political space that might be introduced into this mix as well, in the person of the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. What would you then say to that? If he does decide to run for 2027, would you also ask him to shelve his plans and support or back Mr. Peter Obi? What would then be your stance?
Well, we will have a third leg in the appeal. We will also appeal to President Jonathan that he should consider what the majority of Nigerians have yielded their hearts to pursue. That is a presidency led by a younger person from the younger generation who clicks with the majority of Nigerians by his records of integrity, character, and consistency. Since 2009, you have seen that. No, it's not 2009, actually. When we returned to democracy in 1999, this country has churned out. 1999.
Yes, 1999.
This country has churned out. That's right. Thank you, Terrific Rufai. This country has churned out hundreds of former governors. Now, when they leave office, what do you see? It is their people wallowing in poverty worse than they first came in, when they first came in. There is no one that holds the kind of majestic and impeachable record of integrity, of purity of purpose, and compassion for the poor. The president of Mr. Peter Obi could as well have 10 meals a day if that was possible for a human being to accommodate. But he has left all of that comfort. Yeah.
Okay, so what party are you proposing they come on? Is it the Labour Party, PDP, or the ADC? This coalition you're talking about?
The most important thing, the most important thing is the understanding that we need all of them. Whether it is, of course, coming from the Labour Party, I will prefer the Labour Party, but this time we think that Nigeria as a republic is one party.
Okay.
And therefore, as long as what we are appealing for is accepted, whether it is a coalition of the political parties agreeing on the ADC or the Labour Party, that one is secondary. What is more urgent for us is for the personalities of His Excellency Atiku or Jonathan coming in to provide a third leg to the stool to accept that it is time for a redirection.
Can you hear me because of time? Real quickly. See, with the way you are going.
Very well, very well.
At this rate that you are begging Jonathan, you're begging Atiku. At this rate, I'm sure maybe you probably beg Tinubu to step down for Peter Obi in 2027 because...
Not at all.
But that's what you're saying invariably. I mean, a lot of people have asked, what is wrong with Peter Obi competing in an open campaign? So can't he go ahead and face Atiku in an open primary? Because that's what some of the people against him normally say. That, you know, he wants everything to be done for him already and he just emerges, that he should go and campaign in an open campaign. And you said he has an impeachable record. People are saying against him. They are saying a lot of things against him. In a state, for instance, they are saying, you didn't turn the state into paradise. Some of the opposition figures against him are saying, you didn't turn the state into paradise when you were there. They're also talking about money that was kept in safe havens, although Mr. Peter Obi has come to explain himself on that, but these things keep coming up. They're also talking about his support for, groups and not being able to condemn activities of insecurity in the Southeast. A lot of people are also saying things like, oh, he didn't do as much as he claimed. He was also hypocritical in his time. So why is he being shielded? Why can't he be made to run in an open contest against Atiku Abubakar and the best man wins? Why are we begging everybody? That's what I say at this rate. Maybe we'll probably beg Tinubu to also step down for him.
It is illogical to add Tinubu to the fray or to the table in this particular case, because what we have done is to identify Nigerians or leaders who have the compassion and the pulse of the people as a priority in their individual commitments.
So President Tinubu doesn't have the pulse of the people.
Respect, that Tinubu,
and the compassion.
No, I don't. With all due respect, I don't believe he's one. So that is why he's not in the equation. Then before now, don't forget all the things that can be said, every rot that can be put by opposition against a quality candidate. It's not the first time. Awolowo struggled almost the last quarter of his life, or more than the last quarter of his life, trying to become the president of Nigeria. Nobody gave him a chance. But when the man lay still in death, even the Ikemba of Inewi, or Ikemba Inewi, said, here lies the best president Nigeria never had. Even Jesus Christ, there was an option to choose between the rogue, the thieves in Jerusalem, and the Savior. They chose the thieves to be freed and the Savior to be crucified.
But I know say the only way Nigeria can be better, we have to kick against tribalism, ethnicism, sentimentalism, favoritism, probably, and nepotism. And that is what is currently eating us up. That's why we are not supporting the right people or bringing the right people into power. That's why you see Nigeria is sinking. Nigeria is draining. Nigeria is, is dilapidating. Yes, because we don't want to support the right person. In most cases, we want to support the person that came from our village. Yes, we speak the same language. Yeah, na my brother, na my Edo brother, na my Igbo brother, na my Yoruba brother, Hausa brother. Those kind of nepotism and favoritism, kind of satanic mindset is what that brought you and I to where we are today. Yes, let's be honest to ourselves. That's why you see Nigeria, instead of Nigeria moving forward, but is moving backward. For Nigeria to work and for Tinubu to be removed in 2027, you must come together with me, with us, consigns Nigerians to support Peter Gregory Obi and let him rescue you and I from this sinking country we find ourselves. This is the fact, this is the truth, this is the realism of our current situation in Nigeria. I don't know much. I'm here learning every day. Maybe you know more than me. Come on, let me hear from you. This is Nigeria Watch Media. Join us every day, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Let's continue to talk about the things that affect you and I. Take care, guys, and bye for now.